Students. Today now we are going to see the unit 3 in the robotics. The name of the unit is sensors and machinery. It is divided into two topics. One is sensor and another one is first topic. The unit is machine. We are going to see the two topics in this unit. First one is sensor and another one is the machine vision. Okay, this is the syllabus of the third unit. You can all have a note at it. Now, first one, already we have seen what is a robot. A robot is a machine that is especially made for a programmable machine that is made to do some complex series of actions automatically. So a robot is made to do some complex series of actions in automatic manner. Now, what is robotic sensor? We are going to see what is robotic sensor. Sensor is a device that is used to sense something. Mainly, a sensor is a device that detects physical signal and converts it into electrical signal. So this is the definition of the robot sensor. It detects a physical signal and convert it into an electrical signal. Robot sensor are used to estimate a robot's condition and environment. Mainly estimate the signal are passed to a controller to enable appropriate behavior. Okay, now these are the different types of sensors: light sensor, sound sensor, temperature sensor, contact sensor, proximity sensor, distance sensor, pressure sensor, voltage sensor, current sensor, IMU sensor, and acceleration sensor. Now we are going to see in detail about all these types of sensors. First one is light sensor. A light sensor is a sensor used to detect light. It's used to detect light and create a voltage difference. The two main types of light sensors used in the robots are photoresistor and photovoltaic cells. These are the two types of light sensors used in robots. Now, these are the different types of light sensor used in a robot. Now we can first one is a VFX light sensor. The VFX light sensor is the simplest form of light sensor, which is used to allow a robot to detect a light. For example, these types of robots can be used in a street lamps, something like that. So if it becomes a these sensors will and the lights are automatically switch off. So these sensors are used for these purposes. These sensors are also used in cars also. For example, if it is very for example, if it is very dark, it automatically switches on the headlight. Next one is the LIGO sensor. Next one is the LIGO sensor. A LIGO sensor is designed to perfectly fit into a LIGO robot. It can be used to improve the robot vision, and it is perfect for light detection. Okay, this is used to improve the vision of the robot. For example, if the robot is moving in a dark place, these are mainly used in the security cameras. The security cameras sense the darkness and automatically improve the vision of the security camera. So next one is the light sensor, 1000 units. Then SEI light. Next one is DF ambient light sensor, Arduino LilyPad light sensor, CDS photoconductive cells, DF robot, BH1750 light sensor. So these all types of robots are light sensor. The main use is to detect the light. Next one is the sound sensor. This sensor generally detects the sounds and returns a voltage proportional to the sound level. A simple robot can be designed to navigate based on the sound it receives. These robots works by detecting the sounds it gets. A simple robot is so it can detect some sounds and work based on that. Imagine a robot which turns right for one clap and turns left for two claps. So the robot will be designed like that. So if a single clap sound it hears, it detects, it will move left. And if it hears a double clap sound, it will move right. So similar to this, it can detect the sound and work on that. Complex robots can use the same microphone for speech and voice recognition. Next one is temperature sensor. Okay, for example, if your robot has to be work in a desert or something like cold mines, it cannot work in a heavy temperature, a very higher temperature. So these temperature sensors are used. So the robot can detect the temperature and if it cannot withstand the temperature, it won't go to that places. These contact sensors are used to find if there is any physical touch between two objects, or if there is no touch, there is no contact. So this is used to find if there is any physical touch between two objects. This is known as contact sensor. Pressure sensor. The pressure sensor is also known as tactile pressure sensors. It is used in robot to measure the pressure. Tactile pressure sensors are useful in robotics as they are sensitive to touch, force, and pressure. If you design a robot hand and need to measure the amount of grip and pressure required to hold an object, then this tactile or pressure sensor is used. Next one is tilt sensor. Tilt sensor measures the tilt of an object. How much tilt. The main application of this tilt sensor is when it is used to measure the mercury suspended in the thermometer, how much tilt is used to this tilt sensor is used to measure. Next one is distance sensor. Most proximity sensors can also read the distances. The different types of distance sensors are ultrasonic distance sensors, infrared distance sensors, laser range sensor, encoders, and stereo camera. Mainly, these distance sensors are used in automobiles. In cricket, also these distance sensors are used. If a batsman hits a six, the distance of the six is measured in the television. This is by the use of this distance sensor. Next one is the voltage sensor. Voltage sensors are typically convert the lower voltages to higher voltages or vice versa. One example of this voltage sensor is a general operational amplifier which accepts the low voltage, amplifies it, and then generates it into a higher output voltage. So this is one of the example of voltage sensor. Next one is current sensor. Current sensors are electronic circuits which monitor the current flow in a circuit. and output either a proportional voltage or a current. Most current sensors output an analog voltage between 0 volt to 5 volt, which can be processed further using a microcontroller. IMU, inertial measurement units, combine the properties of one or more sensors. This IMU combines the properties of two or more sensors. This is the application of the IMU. Acceleration sensor. Acceleration sensor is a sensor that is used to measure the acceleration or a tilt. This acceleration sensor is divided into two. One is static force and another one is dynamic force. Object in types of acceleration sensor. The main, the example of static force is the gravitational force. If you are measuring the gravitational force, this is static force measurement. The dynamic force is measuring the moving objects like a running car, something like that. Next one is difference between digital sensor and analog sensor. The digital sensor can have only two values, that is the two values 0, 1, that is all or nothing. These are the two values a digital sensor can have, but on the other hand, sensor have multiple states and the same quality of light. The value is between 0 to 1023. So this is the difference between the digital and analog sensors. Basic transducer. A basic transducer is used to convert the sensing object into a meaningful information. The sensor and this transducer is used to convert this into a meaningful information. This is the transducer, a device which converts one form of energy to another form. A sensor is input to a system and the actuator is the output from a system. What is the use of sensors? Sensors are used to measure the physical quantities such as temperature, light, pressure, sound and humidity. They send signals to the processor. For example, a security alarm system which have an infrared sensor which sends when the beam is broken. For example, sensors are used everywhere. Another example is it is used in the malls. If there is any fire, the sensor will sense the temperature and automatically water will be used to put off the fire. 7 types of industrial robot sensors: 2D vision, 3D vision, force shock sensor, collision detection sensor, safety sensors, part detection sensors, and others. Conclusion: a simple obstacle avoider robot can be built by using complex of photoresistor or infrared sensors. The more complex your robot gets, the number of sensors you tend to use. A single task may be required to combine different sensors. Sometimes a task can be performed from any or many other available sensor. Okay, thank you.